That's GQ. Peeping out these industry freaks wearing dresses you can see through. Hammer time, I'm ready to party. After words get naughty and sweat off Versace. You with your man, but you still looking good and healthy like Patti LaBelle's cooking. Eye contact, now tell your man you got a pee-pee. Run free, a free.
Welcome to episode 71.
Glad to be here as usual.
So the topic we were getting into for the podcast, like we usually do, we just get into some random thing and see what sparks our interest for the day. And today was complaining. So I don't know how you feel about complaining. I have a general idea now that you're against it. We all do it. But I used to be a serial complainer when I was growing up. I would complain about everything.
What was your favorite thing to complain about?
School. And even through college, that was up there. I mean, I constantly complained about school when I really should have just put my head down.
Just fucking studied, just gotten through it.
Yeah, just got through it. Because you knew there was an end, you know. When you're going through school, you know there's an end to it. And it's really not the worst thing in the world, by any means.
If you think about it.
If you take a zoomed out perspective, you're eating, you're in warm buildings, you're learning.
Whether that's high school, college, trade school, whatever, the only reason why you do that is to improve your own life. So if you're complaining about improving yourself, then what the fuck are you doing?
This might just be an issue with authority, but I've always had an issue doing things when someone else tells me to do it.
I feel like that's
in terms
natural,
of learning,
for sure.
Yeah, such as read this book and you really slog through it. Sometimes you'll get hooked into the book and realize that it is an interesting one and just get through it. But just the fact that you know you might have to do a report on it, a quiz on it, it just makes it feel like homework. So it's hard to feel like you're doing something beneficial.
One of the only books I can remember in high
and I
school
like reading.
that I actually really enjoyed, and there wasn't a big hoopla about, you know, like us having to write papers and shit about it, was the same book that every like 10th grader read in high school, Of Mice and Men.
Yep.
That was a really good book.
I enjoyed that book. I read it a few times throughout school. I think we had to read it in middle school. I read it in high school, and I think also at community college when I first took English. I don't even honestly know how I ended up taking English 1 and 2. It may just have been a requirement.
It probably was, because
I don't know what I was
that
going for. I mean, I was going to transfer anyways, and I don't know if you had to take English for my degree at the actual university.
You have to take like English classes for like every degree.
Okay,
like,
so you had to as well?
Yeah. Just only like the basic ones though. And I'm not even talking about like psychology and stuff like that. Like,
no, just English.
Like writing classes.
Yeah, writing, comprehension. And those classes are difficult when you get into the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read a decent amount. I wasn't always reading as a kid. I wasn't a bookworm. My sister was more the one always with her nose in a book.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a pretty good, reading comprehension overall. Much better than writing even. I'm good at reading. But I don't know, just something about the books they would make us read. I never really got into it until I started listening to books again recently and also reading them, and I discovered how enjoyable they are when it's on your own time.
But see, now that you're outside of that school situation, you look back on it and it's like, why was I complaining so much when I could have just, like you said, put your head down and gotten through it?
Yeah.
So I mean, because we were talking about before, like when it comes to complaining, like let's say relationships, let's say someone and their significant other. I feel like if you, let's say it's a situation where, let's say I'm dating someone or someone I know is dating someone, and the person, like let's say me, let's say I came to you every single time that there was some sort of like spat with my significant other, and I was complaining, oh, they play too many video games, they eat too much, they don't clean up after themselves, they don't do X, Y, or Z. I feel like if you are just talking shit, like literally just like talking shit about your significant other for things that they just do naturally, that they have no intention of wanting to change themselves, like you're trying to just morph them into who you want them to be, you're dating the wrong person.
I think that gives you permission for opinion to respond with how you feel about it, and also in many cases it's probably, because I know I've done this, it's you throwing out a statement in hopes of getting some sort of opinion on the situation.
You can only like no, I get that. Yeah. Like but
if you, like you said, if you say something about it or you give a resolution and this person still keeps coming back to you with this issue, eventually you might just have to say, can you please stop complaining about this person or this situation, or do something about it.
So, and we can look at it even outside of relationships too.
Yeah,
like,
there's
let's
so
say,
many factors to this, though. It's how close are you with the person.
like,
We can tell each other basically anything. Like, you'll just tell me, this girl's a nightmare. Like, you guys just fight all the time. I really think you should break up. And I'll take that in seriously.
what I'm more so talking about is like people who, let's say someone really likes I don't know, McDonald's, and they eat that all the time, and it's to the detriment of that person's health. And let's say you in the relationship, you're more health conscious, and you care about not only your health but your partner's health as well too. So you have to. It gets to a point, I would have to guess, with some people where they look at that situation and they think, what's more important? This person who obviously, like, that's them, that's what they want to do. Let them live their lives, or is it more so the fact that, you know what, I'm getting frustrated and causing my own self mental anguish by trying to change someone who doesn't want to change?
Right.
I feel like
the reason they're
yeah.
complaining is they don't know what to do about it.
And I feel like if you find yourself in that position where you're just trying to change your significant other, you
You
shouldn't
can't
be
try
in a
to change
relationship.
anyone. You can't change friends. You can't change family. You
No.
have to accept people for who they are.
If anything, because look, let's say you meet someone and they're perfect for you right then in that moment in, let's say, 2019. That's all fine and dandy, but just like anyone else, people change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. You just need to find that other person who's willing to change and adapt their lifestyle with you, because I feel like that's the main part, like, of having a stable, successful relationship, is being able to change and grow together, not just one person deciding, okay, well, I'm gonna, change my life around, get a better job, get healthy, etc., while the other person doesn't. If that other person does not care about improving themselves like that, then of course there's just going to be a natural rift in the relationship.
Right. And this relationship, in quotes, can apply to mentors, romantic relationships, friendships,
Work relationships, because
it's a classic. How often do you see, two people are complete bums and they obviously keep pulling each other back down, or there's one that looks like they could have a chance to get out of the situation, but they're pulled down by the other person.
Let's say going to work, and let's say there's a team of 3 people on this team, and 2 of the people are, pulling their weight. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then there's that third person who just doesn't care enough. They're slacking. That's going to bring down everybody. You know what I mean? It'll bring down the entire core relationship of that team.
It brings you out of the flow state, too. Because if everyone's working and synchronizing together, and then this one person doesn't care at all, as you said, and they sort of just break up the energy, that excitement, it takes you out of it because you realize, wait, like, I'm really into this right now. This person doesn't care. Why do I care this much?
Yeah.
It throws your whole brain into a completely different loop.
And like with like, let's say like a relationship,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to, I'm not saying that you have to 100% love and be for every single thing that your significant other does.
No.
You should have like separate hobbies, separate separate shit like that. But I'm just talking about in terms of like the main, like, staple, like the shit that matters. You know what I mean? It's like,
you need
health,
a cornerstone,
financials,
something.
shit
Yeah.
like that. Like, I feel like if you're in a relationship and you're getting into arguments, stressing, etc., about let's say, and this is in your control, because there's one thing about, like, let's say you break your leg or have some sort of like crazy disease. Okay, you can't really like complain about that. But let's say it's just like the way you eat, taking care of yourself, your hygiene, stuff like that. I feel like stuff like that and like money, those are probably like the biggest like stressors.
In this day and age, Facebook's probably up there, 1 or 2, but also money, as you said, and hygiene, people not keeping up with themselves or let themselves go.
I wish there could be a stat out there, and I'm not sure how they would collect this data, but I wonder how many like relationships from, let's say, just dating to engaged, marriage, etc. I wonder how many relationships that social media has ruined. and
Countless.
countless. Because I mean, and I'm not talking about like, let's say someone actually like cheating on someone.
The divorce rate's soaring.
I'm talking about like let's say people who just think that their significant other is, you know, up to something, or they're stalking their significant other, looking
Just
at everything they
suspicions,
post,
yeah.
and being suspicious and worrying all the time, like because
just the
they
hysteria of these social
liked
media sites.
Jenny's new photo of her cat, and oh my god, he must want to bang her, stuff like that.
Social media is fantastic at exposing weaknesses, insecurities, anything in that category. Shortcomings that, you know, they may be fake, they could be real, but it enhances that feeling of comparison to others. What do I have? What's wrong with me? It makes you think about a lot of things along those lines. So yeah, without social media at all, I'm sure the divorce rate would be a little lower.
See, and I feel like I heard
and that's just divorces, not, as you were saying, just relationships, dating. You know, people just going out for a year or two, and then they get jealous looking at each other's posts, and things get ruined for no reason.
Because I mean, we were talking earlier how you could be in a conversation with someone who they're outwardly, or let's say you're just looking at their social media, outwardly, two people's relationship could seem great. You know, they're doing X, Y, and Z. You know, it seems like, you know, they've got a stable thing going on. But then all of a sudden you hear 2 days later, oh yeah, so-and-so broke up. When you think, oh, they just posted a picture of their dog, you know, and a fucking ice cream cone. Like, it's, with social media, most people only put the good out there.
Yep.
So that's to the detriment, I think, of everyone. To the people who only post the good. I mean, I fall habit to that myself too. You know,
Yeah.
I really only post good stuff. There's not much that I'll post that's just like either just straight negative or just not like positive in terms of like self-motivation, shit like that.
At least you're trying to actively check yourself. Everyone has that feeling when they're putting a post, they almost want to jazz it up in the description, make it seem cooler than it is. Then you remove the filter.
People can see that.
Yeah, you just put something more realistic that you would just say. That's my guidelines these days. Would I say this out loud in front of my friends, or would they make fun of me? You shouldn't be saying anything that sounds cock.
Like, I mean, like,
Or
on the contrary to that, I feel like maybe it would be better for people if they only posted stuff like that, the stuff that they would only say, you know, like their true self is what I'm saying. So instead of trying to put on like a fakeade for social
Facade?
media, like instead of doing that, like post the stuff that actually means something to you, that actually like is relevant to you, because not only will you kind of push out all the stuff that you don't give a fuck about anyways, but it'll also attract other people, like-minded people, to you as well too.
That's true. Two things I've been thinking about a lot recently in general is knowing who you are and being comfortable in your own skin, being comfortable with yourself, everything about you. It's tough, but I think it's one of the most important skills you can learn, is being 100% okay. We talked recently about being alone, presence, but even when you're out in public, being comfortable in your own skin, that goes along with it in a way. You build it up by being alone and finding out your habits, you know, your quirks, your interests, what you like to do. But if you are 100% bulletproof in your personality, in terms of, I know what's wrong with me, I know my good traits, I'm going to laugh along if you say something about me that, you know, is a downfall, because I'm okay with making mistakes. I think at that point you can shed anxiety in a way, because you're okay with being wherever, whether that's be by, you know, by yourself on the couch, at a conference, in a small group of people at a dinner. I try actively, if I act differently in a situation and I catch myself afterwards, I'll note it, to try to act as I always do in every situation.
It's funny that you bring that up too, because we were just looking up we just saw an article about some state representative who is resigning from. So a little background on this dude, I guess he's like ultra conservative, anti-LGBT, you know, that caricature of a person. But the same story you hear time and time again with people like that is he's resigning because there are allegations, which, again, there's nothing wrong with this. There's allegations that he was like meeting younger dudes on like a dating app and banging them. It's like, okay,
Well, yeah, what's up with these guys? It's almost comical, like you said, a caricature. It's a comic at this point that anyone who's on TV yelling about gays and,
They're
and how they're going to burn in hell.
they probably like to touch penises.
At this point, that's one of my first thoughts is that this guy's into other guys.
Yeah, because why?
Either that or if it's not, if he's not gay, he's just into kids or something creepy.
But you said, which I think is a very good point, is being comfortable with yourself. Because think about it this way: if this dude was comfortable with himself from the get-go and
Right.
was not spewing out anti-LGBT shit,
Yeah.
it would be a non-story that he was hooking up with dudes.
Yeah.
A non-story.
Being gay, that's fine. That's cool.
Do what the fuck you want. I don't care.
No one cares. It wouldn't have made the news, as you said.
No, it wouldn't.
The reason it's in the news is this guy's out there preaching that it's bad while he's actively living the second life at night, doing what he's preaching against.
People like that, I can't imagine
The pain,
the
the
mental
daily
hell
torture.
that,
Yeah.
that they must go through every fucking day, just leading a double life like that. You know what I mean?
How can you wake up elated just knowing how fake you are every single day?
Like, look, some people.
It has to be relieving in a way to get found out.
I would think so, because then it's like, okay, you can be as shitty of a person as you want,
But once it's out on the open.
it's like you're putting undue mental stress on your own self. I kind of
And we also don't want to completely disrespect this dude. We have to double check the article. I don't think it was underage. Anyone.
no. I mean, I didn't say anything was underage. It's just
Exactly.
It's just, yeah.
It said younger.
Dude. Yeah. So the dude's
whatever.
like fucking 40s, 50s, whatever. So
So,
you can
right.
up like a 19-year-old dude, whatever.
Right, even 23,
Yeah.
that would be considered younger, or
Right.
much younger. And if he wants to do that, that's fine.
Yeah,
But-
there's nothing wrong with
yeah,
that, dude.
he's
You do
technically
you.
doing- He's
Yeah.
doing nothing illegal, technically.
No.
It's just he's a fake preacher. He's spewing lies.
Like, I mean, look, you and I both know there were just some people who just like
They're in denial.
They don't care, you know. Like
Yeah.
they'll be happy to be what's it called, hypocrites and,
Right.
and shit like that with life.
It's
I
that
think
husbands or wives who know their partner's cheating and they just have that fake face they put on and they just ignore it, even though they know, but they don't know.
But see, people like that, people who like spew something like that's part of his like. He makes money being
Yeah.
elected by people who appreciate him saying shit like that.
Right.
So when
I feel
so when he's in a situation where he could say either A, I could come out and not be, you know, elected or given this monetary benefit from these people who are supporting me for saying these things, or he could just keep doing what he's doing and hiding that double life. If he came out, there would be a good chance that he may need to find a new way to make money to live.
that is
So-
true. He'll have to switch it up, but I doubt this guy was making out like a bandit. It was more he probably he probably felt stuck. He's doing this for so long. Maybe he always knew, or he finally came to grips with himself. You know, this is all lies that I'm preaching to people, but he just keeps doing it because it's almost muscle memory at that point.
I guess, and like, let's say in his mind, he's probably thinking that, and what is it, armchair psychologist?
Yeah.
He's probably thinking
That's what we do here.
Well, if I come out, then the people who elected me into this position are obviously people who support stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if I come out, these people who elected me probably won't do that again. And he's probably thinking, well, now to the outside you and I looking, okay, you just don't get elected. But he probably has to think, fuck, I'm going to have to come up with a whole new career, you know, a whole new way of life. So while he may feel more comfortable, you know, like, okay, well, I'm out of the closet now, but it's like, fuck. Like, now it comes back to the regular, like, the hierarchy of needs. It's like, I need money to get shelter and food and shit.
I don't think this is just based total again on armchair psychology.
Like you said,
made up
that's what we do.
Yeah, we're making up this whole guy's backstory. But let's just assume he's pulling in like 30,000-40,000 a year as a preacher.
He wasn't a preacher. He was a congressman. He was like a state representative.
Oh, that's who this was?
Yeah, he wasn't a preacher.
Oh,
He wasn't a preacher.
Okay.
He was an elected official.
All right. Well, let's say this guy is making 130,000 then.
All right.
And he's living pretty good. He's got a BMW lease. There's nothing really stopping him. Was he married?
I didn't look deep enough into the
Okay.
article to see that.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just because he was stuck in his life. I don't think he probably had enough money saved up where he could easily have survived if he would have, say, started Ubering, found a basic
But see,
office job.
people look. You and I both know people don't want to go backwards.
They don't.
People
They
don't want to go backwards. So telling that to him, which it's obviously a logical
Yeah.
step to make, to him, because I mean,
It has to be a more public figure. I have a family. I'm a well-known person thing. Because if he was just a random business guy, he probably would have taken that leap if he was that unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
But just because he's like, everyone in town was like, oh, it's Congressman so-and-so, and his wife and kids
it's
show-
Mayor so and so, you know.
Yeah. And secretly, he's out like a dog at night, getting into diabolical things.
That's what I feel like we talked about on a way earlier podcast. That must be what's so difficult about being like a notable public figure, being famous, is
All
because
eyes on me.
people will see you in one fashion and expect you to be like that
Yep.
forever, and people will turn on you if you don't fit what they want you to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, just look at the dude from what is that, Lil Nas? Like he came out recently, right?
I'm not sure. Did
Yeah,
he?
yeah. No, he came out on the last day of Pride, where there's tons of people who support him. I mean,
Yeah.
why the fuck not? Who cares? You know,
Yeah.
it's 2019. But
Is that why they wanted him removed from the charts?
no,
Okay.
no. But there's so still many.
That was just
people,
racism.
Yeah. There are still so many people who will refuse to, like, in the rap industry, because that's notoriously been like homophobic.
Yeah.
You know, there's people who just won't work on it because the dude's gay.
Right.
You know, but then you've got other artists who are like, I don't give a fuck. You know,
Right.
Which, that makes more sense to me.
And there are some openly gay hip hop R&B.
There
artists
are
out
there are now.
Yeah, like Frank Ocean.
Yep.
I Love McCoken, I think is the name.
Go back to the early 2000s, the 90s, the 80s. How many openly gay fucking rappers did you see?
Really not openly gay anyone.
No.
I mean, even Freddie Mercury was sort of somewhat under wraps until his by the time he had HIV.
I feel like I mean, there were some people that people just knew.
Exactly.
You
I
know?
mean, but it wasn't openly talked about. And there was some they were like actively trying to make you think, what is that? You know, like Prince would cross dress and wear crazy shit.
What's his face? The dude that just
Michael
died
Jackson.
recently. Within the last year or two. Fuck. What was his name?
I don't know, a bunch of people have died.
Yeah, it was some. He was very popular in the 80s.
Yeah, we've had a rough year.
Yeah. David Bowie.
Yeah, yep.
People would always say, like, is he gay? Is he straight?
Right,
You know?
you'd hear all these stories about, you know, backstage at concerts, he's hooking up with other artists and all this stuff. But, you know,
Dude himself said was like, you know, hey, I may have done some stuff, but I
he's
would
like, oh
consider
no, I
myself
was coked up.
Yeah, I would consider myself straight. He had like a wife, I think like a wife and kids and stuff. Which I mean, that doesn't mean that the person can't be gay still,
Right.
you know. But
I honestly don't care, so I just go along with whatever the person's saying. Like if someone
Yeah.
told me, like, yeah, I did a bunch of crazy shit, but honestly, like I figured it out and I'm straight or I'm gay now. It's like, oh, okay.
to be honest with you, when I'm listening to music, the last thing I'm thinking of is what sort of sexual organ this dude or chick likes. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I don't think about their personality even. I think of their artist personality, where they came up with these lyrics or what the story might be behind it. But I don't care if a certain artist says something outside of their songs or they do something stupid. I'm still going to jam their music for the most part.
Could you imagine?
Especially in the streaming age, you're barely supporting them. It's like throwing like a tenth of a penny at them.
Could you imagine? Like, let's pick anyone who does just like straight electronic music, like Deadmau5.
Yeah.
Imagine if you wouldn't listen to his tones and beeps if he was gay. That
Right.
would be so fucking stupid. It's like it's literally just computer noises. How can you have an aversion against that?
Right.
I guess, yeah, whatever. If you don't want to support him because he does X, Y, or Z.
I figured that's probably why someone wouldn't want to support a artist who sings. It's not like their words are trying to, like, you know,
Convert them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
infiltrate their brain. It's just I don't want to support this person because I'm stupid.
It really is honestly stupid though, because
What I've always wondered ever since I was a kid with many things in life is why do you care so much about other people? Not in terms of, compassion and, I care about, a bunch of people that got into this bus accident. I mean more in terms of, why do you care in daily life what someone else is doing if it doesn't affect you at all?
I feel
don't
like
understand that.
There's a couple of fronts. One front that's more so probably in the background is just how our society will make issues out of non-issues to hide the real issues. You know what I mean? If people are talking about,
That's why the news is full of bullshit
it is
to
full of
distract
bullshit.
you.
Like if people are arguing about, hey, let's say someone's arguing about someone's gay or something like that, or should trans people have their own bathrooms, shit like whatever.
Yeah.
When people are arguing about that, what they're not arguing about and getting upset about is income disparity.
And there's levels to this. There's, if you scroll through E! Or any of these entertainment magazines,
That's cancer.
Yeah, it's not even people arguing these actual issues. It's people writing articles about people's purses, the shoes they wore, did so-and-so cheat on so-and-so. It's these people's lives do not matter on the grand scale of the world, especially to you.
The only thing that celebrities are at this point, they're basically, if you could replace them with any people from like any point in history, like celebrities now would be like the lords and like the shit from like the Middle Ages, shit like that. Like the royal families, stuff like that. Because
even if they weren't like the royal blood, they'd be the sub-rulers,
like the aristocrats,
who went to the nice dinners and the nice bathhouses. And the bankers.
Why
financial people?
Why do people they want to put people on pedestals like that?
I don't get the pedestal thing, and I do naturally get kind of looped into some of the people I follow's lives a little bit.
Oh yeah,
like I really like Chris D'Elia's podcast.
You can have admiration for people.
Exactly, and if you listen to it regularly, you sort of feel looped into what's going on with that person. I listen to Ari Shaffir's podcast a lot, and I feel almost like everyone has this feeling like you're sitting in the room with them, so you start to feel like you know them, but you don't know them. Mm-hmm. So you have to have that knowledge. If you walk up to them in real life, they know nothing about you.
Yeah, like you can do as much research on a celebrity or whoever, politician that you want. You could look up their backstory. You could see interviews, but at the end of the day, you don't know them. It's
also like, I think of it as listening in on an interesting conversation of cool people, but I don't put them up on any sort of pedestal. It's just like a cool person I haven't met in real life yet.
One thing that I've heard
I wouldn't care
say,
what shoes you wear. Like I wouldn't write an article about Kyle wore tan pants to their last meeting. So why would I care outside of the people I personally know about some celebrity wearing something?
One thing that I've heard in the past 1,000 times over is never meet your idols. For the reason, because you may not know your idol that you adore, maybe a dick, or bitch, something like that. But honestly, I think it's probably best to meet them, especially if they're shitty people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that will
can
ground
change your perspective of who your idols are.
Exactly. Because why would you want to idol someone who's a piece of shit?
Right, their fake personality. Why would you want to idolize someone who doesn't really exist in life? They're putting on a fake show, like the people who are abusive, and they put on that fake face for the neighborhood or when they're in public. That person isn't real.
In this day and age, people appreciate authenticity. So if you meet your idol and they're a piece of shit, then all that does, I feel like, you can still, let's say they're a musician, you can still enjoy their music, whatever. But I feel like that'll only help you become a better person, because that gives you an option to look at someone, and it gives you the experience where it's like, okay, I thought someone was this and they're not, and that changed my whole view of how I view people at this point, because you can't go in especially without meeting someone, and assume they're a certain way.
Right. I think if you go in with an open mind, it can be a very eye-opening experience, because it can be a great moment of meeting someone, and even if they're not, no one's exactly like you think they're going to be, but it can be a positive meeting. Or if it goes bad, if you don't let it bring you down, you just think, oh, this person isn't what I always thought they were, and you just move on. You just can't let it get into your head.
I don't think it was like my idols, I would say. I mean, most of my actual like idols are people in my family, you know, who I've seen go through stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and come up positive at the end. Like there's people who, you know, like I appreciate their music, etc. Like,
Yeah.
let's say if I had to choose like my favorite, because people have, you know, like favorite celebrities, like my favorite quote unquote celebrity like would be probably Tupac, but that dude's dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to
And-
idolize someone who
yeah.
got shot down.
And even like looking back on it, you can see it's like, okay, people, because it's funny. You go,
His path led towards that.
yeah, like it's funny. You can go see like listen to like any like video of like one of his songs on YouTube and look at the comments of people. Oh, so inspirational, so X, Y, and Z. It's like we think that now. Like let's say it's like a 14-year-old who's saying that. We think that now, but let's say put myself back to like let's say like 95, and cause he's still the same person. Knowing myself today, I'd probably be like, what the fuck's wrong with that dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, it would probably be like, obviously to not that extent, I don't think, but, you know, like that Tekashi 6ix9ine dude?
Yeah, he's your idol?
No, fuck no. Let's say...
You heard it on here. That's an exclusive.
I'm getting a 70 tattooed on my head. Like,
Someone finally is idolizing Tekashi.
But but let's say, like, I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, obviously, but let's say he just, like, passed away, like, tomorrow.
Right.
Guarantee you, like, in the future, let's say 15 years in the future, some kid is going to stumble upon his music and be like, oh, fuck, this dude must have been X, Y, and Z, you know? But in reality, like,
Yeah.
probably a piece of shit more often
Right.
than not when they're around.
I think by the time he gets out of jail, people are going to be like, who? Tecumseh 57?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of him.
I actually haven't heard of, like, anything, but is he still in there?
Yeah,
like,
he's still in jail. Yeah, it's real. You know, the rumors are true. It does exist. You can't just do whatever, unfortunately. He was living like his music, and his music was crazy, and it led to him ending up basically, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, no, like...
He's around, you know, racing around, shooting at people, getting into altercations with adversaries outside of concerts, and he ended up in jail for RICO charges.
You can't be surprised when shit happens to your idols or shit happens to other people when they do stuff like that.
Right. I love all the people who are like, nah, he's not going to go to jail. Like, no, he committed a major
It's like,
crime. He was running a crime syndicate. They were like shaking down businesses and people, threatening them.
it's like I feel like, and not just with like music and that and stuff like that, but I
Right.
feel like just people in general, they speak things into existence. Like, if you're walking, like the most basic one, I would say, if you're walking around all pissed off all the time, arguing with people, of course the only people you're going to interact with are negative people because you're gonna be fucking, you know, in war against them.
Right. Like if a rapper or just any celebrity, someone who's, you know, well known enough to make it into the news in the first place, gets arrested for some sort of silly, you know, drug mix up or possession thing where they're not hurting anyone. Or if it's, you know, they're boarding a plane and, you know, like on the way to their personal plane, they say they get pulled over and they have like a legal gun on them for protection. In a way, I understand because maybe for whatever circumstance in the past, they can't legally own one and they have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people want to possibly, you know, kidnap them, rob
Right.
them. So those people I understand, like, you know, the free so-and-so, you know, like,
I've always
free
laughed at those.
Ty Dolla $ign.
Free Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah, he's
free,
still in there, right?
No.
He's out?
I think you're thinking like free Bobby Shmurda because
No, who got in? Remember, was Skrillex. Skrillex.
Oh, yeah, no, I
was
mean-
with Ty Dolla $ign.
he wasn't in like jail. I mean, he just got like arrested and was like charged with this shit. So he was like trying to beat the case, which I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay, good.
He went on like probation and stuff and did some like charity. I
Right.
don't know, but
Those cases, I
yeah.
feel, because whatever, they stormed into the bus. Skrillex was chilling with Ty Dolla $ign and whatever. They found some things they shouldn't have found. So in that case, I get it. But if it's like, you know, some like assault, they're shooting at people, I don't feel for those people. I'm like, don't free them.
Yeah, no, it's like they got put in that situation for a fucking reason, you know.
Yeah, like all those mindless drones out there who don't even read the case or anything. They're just like, free Tekashi and shit like that. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's Honestly, because there's situations when, let's say, people do get caught up in some bullshit for no reason. Like, let's say, like a good example, the ASAP Rocky situation.
Right.
You know, there's
Yeah, there you go. Free ASAP Rocky.
yeah. Free ASAP Rocky.
Yeah,
Like that,
free A$AP Rocky.
That's someone to free. And I guess for the people who don't know, ASAP Rocky is a pretty popular rapper who went to Sweden, and while he was there, he was with like a couple of his friends and security. There were two like younger dudes, I don't know, 19-year-olds, something like that, what they look like, that were like, I guess, fucked up and screwing around with people. There was another couple who said that they were like smacking their asses and stuff. And
Yeah, by the time the camera came into frame on
So-
the one
so-
video I saw, the guys were already trailing them, and someone off to the side mentioned that comment, like you said, like, oh, like he was following me, he smacked my ass and my girlfriend's ass.
So what happened was ASAP Rocky and his crew got into like a scuffle with these people, and they got into it. There was a video that ASAP posted on Instagram showing them in the video. He said, "I do not want trouble with these people. They have been fucking with us. They're fucking with these other people
Yeah,
too."
he posted it like, we didn't want this, I'm putting it out there, and he still got arrested and he's still in jail.
He's still in jail.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between someone who it's obvious that, okay, there's just something like
We also
this
don't know
fucked up.
the extent of all the details because, like you said, a scuffle is a loose exchange. He was with a bunch of beast guerrilla security guards.
But still,
they like picked him up, the kid, and I saw they threw him or like kicking him on the ground.
still,
But in general, the other people started it.
yeah.
Like you
So
said.
it gets to a point where you have to just look a little bit deeper into the situation and see, okay, am I saying free let's say Bobby Shmurda, not knowing that he killed like 3 people, you know, like, and punched an old woman in the face and stole an old man's like dentures or something.
You know, at
Like,
this point though, free Bobby Shmurda. He's almost out anyways.
Yeah,
he might
yeah.
even be out now.
I could have sworn that like
he had like
was
a
supposed
month
to be getting
left.
out.
Yeah, yep. I think he already had a new song he recorded over the phone or some shit. I hope he goes the Gucci route and comes out, you know, shining, new life, new outlook on everything, and has a successful career. Just in general, I like to see people do good. Honestly,
Yeah, like it's always good to see people turn their lives around. Or
I
feel
love
that-
seeing
that's-
my friends succeed.
I feel that's close to like why people always like the underdog story.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people like to see, because it makes you think that it's possible for you as well too, if you're in
Yeah.
that situation, to see someone come from nothing to start succeeding.
Yeah.
You know?
I get motivated within our friend group. Like if one of you will say in the chat out of nowhere, like, "Hey guys, I just want to let you know, like I'm doing this new thing now, and I know it's something they've been working towards, or I passed this test." It gives me a little fuel to work towards whatever my goals are.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean they're the same, but it's just a generic fuel to keep going.
And that's the difference between, I think, like real friends and then just people you're around or fake friends. Because
People are trying to impress. Like
The-
if you show up, you're like, "Guys, check this out," and you're like trying to show off a new car, is a lot different than like, "Hey guys, like I got a new car." People are naturally like, "Oh sweet, like let me see it."
From the opposite end, like if you see your friend getting that new car or getting that new position,
You're like,
or,
"I'm proud of
getting that
you."
or getting that certification, and you're like, "Oh, who cares?" Like, you try to downplay it or stuff like that.
Or even if you give a compliment, you try to one up it, you know?
Or that, like, that's I don't consider that the staples of like a true friendship, because you should feel good, because it's like you see it all the time with like celebrities. Like, let's say if like an actor or an actress or they're called actor now, what the fuck ever. They come from like nothing, and when they actually start making money, they start helping their friends and family and helping them and boosting them up too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess they were still on the right path, but like Drake and his buddies,
Yeah.
like they're helping run all of his shit and
Yeah.
making music with him. It's like when Drake became big, it helped them boost them up too. So it's like friends are supposed to help boost other friends up. you
Yeah.
know?
I used to wonder how people can keep it all together when they start to gain some sort of fame, notoriety, money of who their real friends are. But I don't have anything along those lines. Like, there's not a bunch of agents calling me right now trying to get a hold of me. But still, overall, it's pretty easy to see in life who your real friends are. And people you run into at work, you can tell when they're being sneaky or just only in their own benefit. You can just get the vibe. They don't really care about you. They're just trying to, like, sell the image, the thing.
Yeah, no, look, I would rather not I'd rather just, let's say, either not be talked to, not even bothered with, fake humility or fake just interactions like, oh, like, I hope your weekend's good. It's like, or, oh, hey, I hope you have a good day. It's like,
I like them when they're
Don't
genuine. Like, genuine. Sorry.
yeah,
Like, if you look someone in the eyes and they're like, how's your week? And you're like, great, actually. How was yours? And you're not just saying it as small talk. You're responding as a actual friend-to-friend conversation. I can feel that versus the fake ones. Like, oh, yeah, hi, how are you? And you're not even looking at that person half the time. I notice, like, when I do that, I won't make eye contact as much. Not because I'm trying to avoid it, but I'm not even engaging in real conversation. It's just words come out. But if I actually care, I'll naturally make eye contact and engage in the conversation.
you make a good point, because when you see that authenticity in people, it's like in 2019, I'm just tired of dealing.
Fakeness.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm learning at a younger age what conversations are actually like. They make you feel good, you know.
Yeah.
The interactions that make you feel good. Like, I want to fill my time and my life up with more interactions like that, whether that be with friends, people I meet on the street, just genuine good interaction, versus I would rather have one genuine interaction a day versus 30 people saying, oh, hey, how was your weekend? Like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, like, or just being fake. You know what I mean?
I think this goes along with looping it back to knowing who you are. Because if you know who you are, you're going to get a lot less disappointed in daily life, because you're going to be making decisions that go along with things that make you happy as much as you can. Like, if you figure out that you, say, really like rowing, or even if it's just video games, anything, and or if it is going to the club, figure out what you actually like to do. Don't just go to the club because all your friends go every weekend and you're kind of there like a mindless, CPU, just a bystander. You're not really enjoying it, but you're kind of enjoying it because your friends are there. Maybe take a weekend off and do something by yourself. Switch up the lanes a little bit.
You need to cut out the stuff that you know you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
And don't just follow everything. If you go through Starbucks and there's some new crazy peppermint mocha thing and you always just get a regular coffee, like, maybe try it if you really want to. But in general, if you always try these sweet drinks and you never really enjoy and you wish you just would have got black coffee, just get the black coffee. Your day's going to be regular. It's going to be enjoyable. And you're not going to get thrown off.
People, and I include myself in this as well too, because I fall trapped to it. It's really easy for people to get into loops. And those loops become comfortable because obviously you do them so often, it just becomes comfortable.
That's why I can't
So
keep junk food in the house for the most part.
You need to take yourself
Yeah.
out of those loops, because when you do that, you start to realize, well, maybe everything I was doing, I wasn't enjoying as much as I thought I was.
Yeah, you're
I
just
was
doing it to do it.
I was comfortable with doing it, and it's just something that, like, I know that because a lot of people.
Moments of clarity is a good word to call this. If you're hanging out with your friends for a whole summer and you're doing the same shit every day with them, and then you have that moment where you sort of take a step out of the matrix a little bit, and you think, I had these goals earlier in the year and I sort of push them to the side, and I've just been following every single day a pattern, doing what everyone else wants to do. Maybe continue to do that, but block away some time and figure out what you actually want to spend your time on, or what makes you happy.
If you spend a little bit more time, and not just you in general, just people, if people spend more time learning about themselves, because I feel like people, not everyone, of course, but there's a lot of people out there who pretty much past the age of fucking 16, men and women, they think that, okay, I'm who I am now, and they actively resist changing things in
Yeah.
themselves because they think, well,
I've seen people become almost childish when you're trying to show them a different way. It's like they just refuse.
they think that if they and you see this, like, because we were talking about earlier, you see this with celebrities too.
Yeah.
Because celebrities are people, but some people, they'll outwardly show themselves or present themselves in a certain way, like, oh, this person's always, making jokes about this or saying this quip or eating this food or having fun doing this activity. So when that person is in those loops and people expect that out of them, they don't feel as comfortable trying something new because they think, well, fuck, what if my what I think are my friends don't want to hang out with me anymore because I don't enjoy doing this activity as much as I thought I do.
Right.
So people will double down, and then they'll start to realize, fuck. Well, maybe then they don't even realize, maybe actually, that they're only harming themselves and the potential top enjoyment they could be getting out of life because they're stuck putting themselves in situations where they're not even enjoying themselves.
Yeah, there's a big differentiation between doing things you don't want to do that are required. They require discipline or dedication, anything, your motivation, mix them all together to get through it, whether it be a workout, work itself, writing, whatever it may be, even just keeping up with your daily hygiene, making sure you're always tip top. But there's a difference between that and doing things for other people, showing up to events that you really don't want to do. I've got much better at just being honest and saying, no, I don't really want to go to that.
Yeah, no, honestly, it feels good.
Does feel
good.
You don't feel like you're lying to anyone. Then everyone's like, why didn't you reply, or where were you? I didn't want to go.
There are, but what I'll say about that is, especially when like friends invite me to stuff, I usually just naturally want to go at least like 70% of the time.
Yeah.
So
some days I'm not feeling it though. But like everyone,
take that 30%. What I will do though at times is, I know that, and this is not trying to be like me being like pumping myself up or anything, because I think about,
I'll be the judge of that.
Because I think about this like more so. This is more so with family, I would say, not so much hanging out with friends.
Okay.
But when I'm around my family, and anyone could probably sympathize with this as well too. Sometimes you don't feel like going to a family event. You don't feel like going to hang out with, like a parent or a grandparent, aunt, uncle, whatever. But sometimes you have to think about it from their point of view too. It's like they're still like family, and they really want to see me. They just want to see how I'm doing, and even like sometimes I go and I outwardly cheerful. I'm
this
cheerful.
This is the accepting of others part of it.
Yeah, I'm cheerful not because I may be just enjoying myself, period, but I know that other people are getting enjoyment of seeing the family together and seeing me there. So that is what's giving me enjoyment.
Especially with family members as aunts, uncles, grandparents that get older, in the back of your head, there's some finite number of times you're going to have a chance to see these people. Between their schedules, work, travel, vacations, just busy days where you just can't get over there.
Take the opportunity to see
Yes,
them.
if there's some family event and everyone's going, I always try to make family events.
Yeah.
Because I see friends a lot more often, honestly. Not that it's bad. I love seeing everyone, but when I get a chance to see all my, aunts, uncles, grandparents, my parents, sister, I take the chance.
Because all you'll do, I mean, unless your family's a piece of shit,
Yeah.
I'm excluding those people. Like, you'll look back.
This
on
is all
those times.
generic, anyways.
Yeah. You'll look back and you'll regret not going to those family functions.
Yeah.
And because just like anyone, like your family's not around forever. You're not around forever. So it's like you have to really appreciate the times that you are with those people.
Exactly. I always have fond memories thinking back on being at my grandma's house and just wasting hours there, messing with art supplies or playing with marbles, whatever it may be. I used to think for a while, like, why did I waste so much time there? But, as people pass on and time goes on, you look back on those moments as gold.
Yeah, like, it is gold, and that's why I
Mental
think
gold.
It's so sad. I think even more so than let's say cancer. I feel like dementia, just forgetting everything and everyone that made you. Like, I feel like that's got to be a real, like, disheartening.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Right? We've talked about that before. In the end, that's all you have is your consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings.
It's like if you're 80 years old and you can't
That's all
remember who your like kids or husband is or wife is, or grandkids at that point.
Yeah, then nothing matters. Money doesn't matter.
Like
Friendships don't matter.
it's like you're just like you're there, but you're not there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is a great way to end the podcast as well.
Appreciate the people around you because you don't know how long they'll be there.
Yeah. Give someone a call this week. I have to give myself reminders to do this too. Don't get too looped into your own goals to reach out to people. Time flies.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Follow us on Twitter, by the way, TCOC Podcast. Have a good one, guys.
Looking delicious, blushes while I give you kisses, while I'm granting wishes, make your boyfriend suspicious. Vicious while doing dishes in your Daisy do. Handle my business in the evening, spend my days with you. If it's true that you really take it, that bond's broke, so when your man get the shit mistaken, then let him know you might be his girl, but see you always be my woman. Close your eyes, think of me and keep coming. Niggas be swearing that they savvy, claiming they game's cabby. Bitches be hitting switches, calling Tupac daddy. It ain't my fault that she sprung on me, and ain't it fun to make her come put her tongue on me? That's on the real, homie. This is how it is when you play for keeps. If your